Welcome to StarScene Central. Exciting updates about NCIS coming up. Don't miss out. Like and subscribe for more celebrity news. After years of emotional turmoil, heartbreak, and unfinished business, NCIS, Tony and Ziva finally gave fans what they'd been waiting for: closure. For longtime followers of the franchise, Tony DiNozzo and Ziva David's relationship has always been one of television's most captivating will they won't they stories. Their chemistry was electric, their connection deep, and their journey complicated by danger, secrets, and loss. So when both characters left the original NCIS series, it felt like a piece of the show's soul went with them. Their love story was left open-ended, a haunting what if that stayed with fans for years. When the spin-off NCIS, Tony and Ziva was finally announced, many fans approached it cautiously. Was this going to be another nostalgic cash grab? Or would it actually honor the legacy of two of the most beloved characters in NCIS history? Thankfully, it was the latter. The new series didn't just rehash the past, it confronted it head-on. It explored the emotional weight of everything Tony and Ziva had endured, the betrayals, the separations, and the trauma of constantly living on the run. Instead of idealizing their reunion, the show leaned into the scars they carried, both physical and emotional. Throughout the season, viewers saw them pushed to their limits once again, not as agents on a mission, but as two broken people trying to rebuild trust and stability for themselves and their daughter, Tali. There were high-stakes chases, dangerous confrontations, and moments of raw vulnerability that reminded everyone why Tony and Ziva were always the heart of NCIS. But more importantly, this time, the story allowed them something they had never truly experienced before: peace. By the end of the first season, Tony and Ziva stopped running. For years, they'd lived in constant fear of enemies, of loss, of being torn apart again. But now, for the first time, they were able to breathe, to love, and to simply exist together. It wasn't a flashy or overly dramatic ending. It was quiet, honest, and deeply satisfying, the kind of emotional resolution that rarely happens in long-running franchises. The creative team behind the show also embraced the advantages of its streaming format, giving fans a grittier, more mature tone that felt authentic to who Tony and Ziva had become. Gone were the polished procedural beats of network television. Instead, we got a raw and grounded story that reflected the emotional realism of two people scarred by a life of espionage and loss. The dialogue was sharper, the world more dangerous, and yes, the occasional F-bomb only made it feel more real. What truly made the series work, though, was the way it expanded their universe. Supporting characters like Boris, Sophie, and Claudette weren't just filler. They were essential to showing how Tony and Ziva's fight for love and family rippled outward. Their struggles reminded us that the themes of loyalty, sacrifice, and redemption aren't limited to just two people. They define the entire world NCIS has built over 2 decades. Now that Tony and Ziva have finally found their peace, it feels right to let them rest. They've earned their happy ending, and forcing another chapter would only cheapen what the story achieved. Not every great love story needs endless sequels. Sometimes, the most powerful thing a show can do is stop while the audience is still smiling. After all, for Tony and Ziva, the journey was never about the chase. It was about finding their way home. And now that they have, we should leave it that way. Thanks for watching.